Biology students, on this lecture videos, we're going to be covering human reproduction, and this will be part one of our lecture series, an introduction to human reproduction. These are components and elements that you need to know for you to better understand human reproduction, since it's a chapter that has more marks in paper two of the examination. Uh, Now, on part one, we're going to focus on reproductive strategies and embryonic development. Uh, Reproductive strategies, we have three. Here I mentioned two. For some reason I don't understand. External fertilization and internal fertilization and the self-fertilization. Well, with external fertilization, it's when the gametes are being fertilized outside the body of the female. I know you're asking yourself, how is that happening? This is happening like this. Amphibians, fishes, they spawn in aquatic environment. The eggs are laid down, and then the male comes after and fertilizes those eggs. That's external fertilization and its benefits. Internal fertilization is when the gametes are being fertilized inside the body of the female. And with embryonic development, we have oviparous eggs. Oviparous eggs are leathery eggs that are laid outside the female body, and hatching occurs when the embryo is fully developed. On the second method of embryonic development, we have the viviparous development. This means that the embryo develops inside the body of a mother. Here is the catch. The embryo develops in the uterus and the placenta nourishes the embryo. This means that the mother and the embryo are connected via the placenta, and the placenta serves as a food source and carries out gaseous exchanges. And then the ovoviviparous, yes, I said ovoviviparous. This method of embryonic development, it's a combination of the first two that we mentioned. Eggs are fertilized and remain inside the oviduct of the female. The embryo and the mother are not connected via the placenta. This means that even though the egg is inside the female, there is no some form of connection. No, the egg is just inside the female. That means that the embryo is being fed by the amniotic egg, which is inside of. Well, now let's dive into an amniotic egg. An amniotic egg has a porous leathery or a hard shell to prevent an embryo from mechanical shock, drying out, and any environmental stress that the egg might encounter. An amniotic egg has three main membranes that we need to know and are important to know as a life science student. Uh, we have an amnion, chorion, and allantoins. With those three mentioned membranes, you have to know their position and where they're located and their uses and their importance. So now, the amnion protects an embryo during development, and the chorion transfers nutrients from the abdomen to the embryo, and the allantoins respiratory, and it is used for waste disposal from the embryo. This means that it stores things such as urea, excess carbon dioxide. Gee, that's it. So now, as I mentioned, that you have to know their positions on the diagram that I've attached below. Now, let's get into this. This is our amnion. Ne? This is used for respiratory and stores wastes for disposal. This is our amnion, this layer here. You have to know its position. Now, since all of this is our embryo, right? And then this circle around, this one, we spoke about what? We spoke about an amnion. So this means this will be our amnion. Okay? So now let's talk about other stuff. This is our amnion, and then here there's a fluid called an amniotic activity. Ne? Not activity, but amnion captivity. Okay? So this one is the one that prevents mechanical shock. And then this one is our air sac. It serves as gases exchange and plays as important. This part is our yolk sac, and this is our yolk where there's excess nutrients for which is important for the development of the embryo. And then this is the shell that we spoke about. It can be leathery or it can be hard. This is our abdomen. It's a food source for the developing embryo. So these are the membranes that you have to know for you to score full marks on this section of the amniotic egg and its functions and its labeling and whatever. On the last part of our first part of human reproduction, we're going to talk about precocial and atricial development. So now this is interesting. Ne? Precocial and atricial development are two opposites, as I have pictures there to illustrate what I'm talking about. The precocial one says the young are born or hatch mature. This means that when they are born, they are able to walk themselves, feed, and they can see. We see this mainly in ducks and peacocks. So they are not, uh, they don't need a lot of parental care because of they are born ready, they are mature, they can walk themselves around. So with the atricial one, the young are born helpless. They cannot feed themselves. Their eyes are closed. Some of them they are partially naked. So you see this in finches and swallows. See the picture below. This one shows that these two young here, they're a bit naked. I'm sure they're singing for mom here. I'm sure they want food. The young are born helpless, cannot help themselves, eyes are closed. So now with these two, you can tell that uh, with the precocial part, the young can move around and they're not exposed to predation. But with the artificial one, these ones they are typically exposed to predation because they cannot see sometimes, they cannot walk themselves, they are naked. So they're exposed to a lot of environmental stressors compared to that one. So if we were to compare the two, I would say the precocial development has a high chance of developing further and being a mature adult better than the artificial one because that one with the artificial one this means that the parent will need to execute parental care and this will take a lot of time. This means that energy spent while raising the young, while on the precocial one less energy spent while raising the young. This is our first part of the video and then I will upload the second part of the video. Thank you.